So we have models in GitHub Marketplace. As you can see in here, there is a new option called models. This is still beta, so you need to request access if you want to use them. You will see that GitHub is making available different models like Cohere, like meta models, the famous Llama, Mistral, OpenAI, and Microsoft. So in order to get access, you will need to request it here. They will appear at the bottom, that you can go ahead and request access. And once you get it, you will see the following. So I will click on the model and you will go to a page that has all the description of the model, some resources that Microsoft suggests you to read, information about evaluation, transparency, responsible AI, of course. And the important part is this one that you are seeing on the right, because in here it says rate limit tier. Let's go ahead and take a look at what this is about. So as you can see, the playground and free API usage are rate limited by request per minute. Yes, first of all, it's free. But then we have, of course, limitations. As we just saw, OpenAI for GPT-4o is high when it comes to rate limit. It means that this is the limitations that we have, okay? So you can go ahead and take a look at, for example, how many requests per minute you can make, how many requests per day, tokens per request, and concurrent requests. So that will depend on the model that you decide to use. Let's go back in here. And now that we decided which one is the model that first we're going to use, you can go ahead and click on the playground. So this is pretty similar in case you had the opportunity to play around with the AI Studio or the different tools that Microsoft provides in order to test models. This is pretty similar. You have in here the possibility to chat with the model, and in the right you have the possibility to add the system prompt and modify the different parameters to work with the project. But you would think on what's different on this. Why is this different to using Azure or AI Studio? Well, this is the thing. You don't need to have a subscription. You don't need to have, you don't need to pay for the model in this case. In this scenario, you are using a token that GitHub is providing for free. So once you get in here, you will see that the credentials are going to be a GitHub token, okay? So this is currently using it already. If I said, for example, hey, what's the capital of France? It will reply to me. So I didn't add any keys, I didn't add any endpoint, I didn't deploy any model. This is already using GPT-4o with my GitHub credentials, my GitHub tokens. But this is not it. What happens if I want to see the code on how this works? Then I can go ahead and click the option code, and in here you can select the language that you want to use, for example, Python, JavaScript, and of course if you want to use the Azure AI Inference SDK or the OpenAI SDK. Now, let's say I want to test the same prompt or something similar with another model. I can go ahead and click in here and select the model I want to try. Now, what happens if I go and return to the previous page and go to this one, and I want to see what I was already chatting with the bot? I have the option to restore to last version, and you will see what you were exactly working on. Then what happens if this is not enough for me? I don't like to work in a browser. I would like to use Visual Studio Code. Then I can go ahead and click Get Started. This will guide you in order to create a GitHub token in order to connect through Visual Studio Code and through a typical environmental variable. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Great. So I'm in Visual Studio Code. I just did a copy paste of the code that is in there, but you can see that this is getting the token from my environmental variable. So in here I have a notebook, and this is calling the endpoint that GitHub suggests us to use. And in here I can go ahead and execute the notebook without any problem and calling this free model that here GitHub is making available for us. And of course, it gives you different examples in order to also work with that model. And you can go ahead and work whatever, if it is in a notebook in your Visual Studio Code or on the playground on the GitHub Marketplace page. So that's up to you, but this is important that we have now the possibility to test and play around with different models. Now, what happens once you decide to move this into production, or you want to actually use a different model that you need to pay for? Then it's simple. You just need to replace the environmental variables with the ones that you deploy from the service, of course. And that's it. So I hope this is super interesting for everyone like it is for me. So everyone has access to AI now. So see you later.